Berachos Daf Hey. I'd like to apologize. We're simply overwhelmed by the vast amount of new subscribers that we just had in the recent days, and it's very difficult for us to get the video out to everybody. We're working on it. We bought new technology, and hopefully in the next few days we'll have it all sorted out. The Gemara says that a person should use his Yetzer Tov in a battle against his Yetzer Hara constantly. And if that doesn't work, he should learn Torah. And if he sees that he's not beating the Yetzer Hara, he should say Kriya Shema. If it's still not working, he should remind himself of Yom HaMisa, the day of his death. This has come as a surprise to some people that even Shas, all of Shas, came down to Moshe Rabbeinu on Sinai. As we learn in the pasuk, Ve'etin luchos ha'even, that's referring to the luchos, the Aseres HaDibros, V'haTorah, that one is mechuyev to learn Torah, Chamisha Chumshei Torah. V'hamitzvah is referring to Mishnayos. Asher Kosafti is Nevi Miksuvim. L'hoiraisam, how do I get halacha? From Gemara. You cannot derive halacha from a Mishnah, rather from Gemara, and all these came to Moshe Sinai. The Gemara discusses Kriya Shema Lamita, that Kriya Shema Lamita acts as a double-edged sword to kill away the mazikim, and Rish Lakish says to get rid of Yisurim. Says Rabbi Yochanan, I don't need a pasuk for that. Every kid knows that the pasuk says if you do everything like Baruch Hu tells you, Kol HaMachal shesamti b'Mitzrayim lo yosim alecha, Torah is something that gets rid of Yisurim. Says Rabbi Yochanan, if you don't learn Torah Chas v'Shalom, then Baruch Hu sends terrible Yisurim. Says the Gemara, Baruch Hu doesn't act like a regular king. Regular person who gives a present to somebody or he sells something, he's upset. Baruch Hu gave us the Torah and he's excited about it. He says, Torasi al ta'azoivu. If a person has Yisurim, and this is a Yisod for life, person should introspect. He should check to see what might have caused these Yisurim. If he can't figure it out, he should assume it's because he's not learning Torah's Mevatel Torah. And if not, he should understand that it's Yisurim Shalahava. There's a concept that Baruch Hu gives you Yisurim in order to double your Sechar in Olam Haba. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Gemara, gives Yisurim to the people He loves on one condition, that those people accept it ba'ahava, and if they do, they'll be Zoicha to children and Arichas Yamim. There's a machlokes if Yisurim Shalahava is only in a situation where it doesn't create Bittul Torah. According to one man, it's only in a situation where it doesn't create Bittul Tefillah, and according to Rabbi Yochanan, even if it creates Bittul Torah and Bittul Tefillah, it's still considered Yisurim Shalahava. The Gemara brings a Kavachomer. If a slave leaves his master when his master knocks out his tooth or his eye, certainly Yisurim, which take hold of the entire body, they should give you a kaparas avaynus. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says, and this is also a great yesod for life, anything good comes with a struggle. Because Baruch Hu gave us 3 gifts, and they all came with a struggle. He gave us the Torah, He gave us Eretz Yisrael, and He gave us Olam Haba. If a person is involved in learning, or in Gemilas Chasadim, or Rahman al-Islam buries his children, says the Gemara, Moichlim loy kol aveinaisav, all his averos are forgiven. Rabbi Yochanan says, although tzaras is considered a kapara on the Mizbeach, yet it's not considered Yisurim Shalahava. Those Yisurim, the difference is, those Yisurim come to take away Chatayim and Avainas, Averis. Yisurim Shalahava, as we mentioned, means that it comes to double your Sechar. You can make a distinction, says the Gemara, perhaps if somebody has tzaras in Eretz Yisrael, where he has a lot of busha, it's very embarrassing, he has to leave the machane, he has to leave the encampment, then that's considered not Yisurim Shalahava. But if it's in Chutz La'aretz, in America, in Bavel, if you have tzaras, that's Yisurim Shalahava. Another distinction you can make is if the Yisurim are visible to others, if the tzaras is visible to others, that's not Yisurim Shalahava. But if the tzaras is covered, then it's Yisurim Shalahava. Famous Lashon of Rabbi Yochanan had 10 boys that were nifter, and he carried on himself a bone of one of his children, of the last child that died, and he said, Dein garmo dat sirah bir. This is a reminder of the Yisurim of a hava that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me, because Rabbi Yochanan was a tzaddik, he didn't have Yisurim that weren't shalahava. And the Gemara makes a distinction. If a person never has children, that's not Yisurim Shalahava. But if a person, Rahman Islam, loses a child, that's Yisurim Shalahava. Bechir Bar Abba was sick, and Rabbi Yochanan went to visit him. And Rabbi Yochanan asked him, are you happy with the Yisurim? And he says, no, I'd rather not have Yisurim, and I'd rather not have the Sachar. The explanation is because it causes too much B'dul Torah. Rabbi Yochanan says, give me your hand. He gave him his hand, and he healed him. Rabbi Yochanan himself was sick, but he couldn't heal himself because Ein Chayvish Matir Asmi Vis Hasurim, a person cannot take himself out of jail. Rabbi Yochanan said the same thing. He says, I'd rather not have the Yisurim, I'd rather not have the Sachar. And Rabbi Bar Abba took his hand and healed Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan once visited Rabbi Lazar, who was also sick, and he saw that his house was dark. He rolled up his sleeve and it became light in the house. Rabbi Yochanan's skin shined. And he asked him, why are you crying? If you're crying about the Torah that you didn't accomplish, the famous concept, doesn't matter the quantity, it's the quality that counts. And if you're crying because you don't have parnasa, not everybody has 2 shulchanos, 2 tables. You have Torah, you should be happy with that. He says, Rabbi Lazar, I'm crying about you, about your beautiful face, your beauty that one day is going to be buried. And they explain, because Rabbi Yochanan, the Maharsha explains, Rabbi Yochanan was the last of the beautiful people that lasted from Churban Abayis. And that's the end of an era. So they both sat and they cried. Rav Huna, 400 of his barrels became vinegar. Chacham came to Bimchayasim, and they said, listen, you have to look into what you've done. There's a reason. And he says, what you chayshid me? And they told him, they knew, explained the Rishonim, they knew that he did something. And he said, what, you're chayshid the Rebbeinu Shalom, that he'll do something without a reason. You see from here, every Yisurim, all Yisurim that we have comes with a cheshbon. And he said, I don't know, could you tell me? And he said, well, perhaps you didn't pay your sharecropper. And he said, well, the sharecropper is a ganav, he stole from me, that's why I didn't pay him. And he said, nevertheless, even though he's a ganav, if you steal from him, then you taste a little bit of the gneva. So he said, okay, I accept it by myself, I'll pay him back. And in fact, either all his 400 barrels became wine, or the price of vinegar became higher than wine. Abba Binyamin davened before he did any malacha, and before he ate. And Rashi says a tremendous chiddush, and before he learned Torah. Tosfos says, we don't understand what Rashi is saying. Of course you can learn before davening. You should put your bed between north and south, because the Shekhinah is facing east and west. And if you do so, you'll have banim scharim, and the wife won't miscarry. Have a wonderful day.